Um, the repetition of the same problems, the same feelings, and the same insecurities often leave you despondent and even reluctant to try again. Let me go back. It is certainly no secret that all of your interrelationships tend to be similar. Surely you have noticed how the fundamentals seem to remain the same while only the face changes. We just talked about that. The repetition of the same problems, the same feelings, and the same insecurities often leave you despondent and even reluctant to try again. Right? I've been guilty. I've been guilty of that. You try, and you're like, man, this is for the birds. Relationships are stupid. Right? I don't want to do it no more. I'm just going, those are excuses I was giving myself to not stay in the game because I just didn't understand how to play it. I didn't understand that it was me that needed to change. Okay? You surrender yourself to the belief that relationships are difficult and require much compromise, and that the only relationship secret out there is luck, timing, or even divine will. You can't help but notice how what starts off with such hope often ends with no hope at all. Okay? This is good stuff. Hi. There is one common denominator, and that common denominator, like we just spoke about, is me, is you, is the individual in all of the relationships. You're the common denominator. I'm the common denominator. What you perhaps haven't noticed, though, is that in all these repetitive relationships, there's only been one common denominator, you. Whoever the person is that you have next to you, no matter how many times you change him or her, the fundamentals of your relationship will remain unchanged, albeit to varying degrees, because they are simply mirroring you. It can be no other way. This realization may frustrate you at first, and you may even reject the truth that everyone is your mirror. However, you will quickly come to see it as great news because it means that you too can enjoy those loving relationships that previously seemed out of reach. To do so, the only person you need to influence is yourself. Here's an example. A relationship, I was dating a young lady, and we both were kind of like, oh, we just dating. Okay, she lingering in something. I might have been lingering in something, but we still hanging out. And as we started to get closer, I started to feel more emotional towards her, more connected towards her. Like I wanted to express some feelings that I hadn't expressed in a really long time, right? And there was a moment where I wanted to tell her that I loved her, and I didn't, because I was scared, to be honest. I was scared because I didn't know what she was going to say, if she was going to receive it, what was it going to mean if I said it and she said it back, like, you know what I mean? I was just so out of my element that the moment passed and I didn't say nothing. And I blamed it on her and blamed it on the circumstance. Like I didn't take responsibility for the fact that I was afraid. It wasn't until I reflected back later on and picked up some new information to really start to look at myself that I realized I was like, oh, I get it. I was emotionally unavailable. She was emotionally unavailable. She was waiting for me to say it. I was waiting for her to say it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So what I learned was that I can't have any fear when it comes to something like that. And I have to be willing for her to either say it back or not say it back. And either way, not take it personal. It's not a reflection of anyone like being worthy or unworthy. It's like if I'm emotionally unavailable and she's emotionally unavailable, and then I evolve into an emotionally available person and I communicate that, she may not have evolved. So there's going to be a disconnect because I'm emotionally available and she's not. And we've seen that in relationships. Excuse me. Where two people start off on a frequency and then one person starts to want to express their emotion more to the other person and the other person takes off running. Right? It's because you weren't aware that initially you two were emotionally unavailable. Or you said you were emotionally available, but the truth was somebody wasn't. whether it was him or her. Somebody wasn't being honest or didn't know. So you can evolve to a space where you stay together, and now maybe you start out emotionally unavailable and you learn to trust each other and you get open and you're growing together, and then you become emotionally available, and you know what I mean, like that can happen too. But usually when you're not aware, and I know speaking from my experience, I was emotionally unavailable and didn't realize it. And so every successive relationship was ending the same. Sometimes I became emotionally available, and then the woman was like, I'm good. Sometimes the woman became emotionally available, and I was like, I'm good. You know what I mean? So there was always that disconnect because there wasn't two people trying to move and progress together. Okay? I don't mean to get so wordy, but, relationships, baby.